Hello and welcome to my organic kitchen. I have been away for a while. I might just write a little story about what's been going on in my life, but I'm here, I'm back, and I hope that you enjoy my videos as much as I enjoy doing them. I've got new equipment, so I'm very excited. Today I'm going to be making a basic bread. I have been speaking a lot with people. I have been baking bread for a while, so I feel confident that I can share my my basic recipe with you. I'm going to be using a Thermomix because I've been asked to do it. I have a lot of Thermomix users around me. So for those of you who don't have a Thermomix or you don't know what a Thermomix is like, I invite you to search in the internet. It's a fabulous machine. Even though I don't fully cook with it because I am a traditional cook, I can tell you it's a fantastic kitchen appliance that will help you to do anything. And for me, in my experience making bread, to start the dough, the way the Thermomix works is the best, and I always get the best results. So I thought I'll show you how I do it with the Thermomix. This recipe, I will obviously publish it in my blog. And when I do, I will write it both ways, for Thermomix users and for those people who don't. I also have a stand mixer. You can do this with your stand mixer as well. Obviously, you will have to warm the milk previously. So what makes a sandwich bread like so tender? Milk. So instead of water, you want to use milk. I always use grass-fed cow's milk to be sure that that there's nothing, the process that they use and some of the food that they feed to the cows, I don't fully agree. So I always use that one. If you want to make it dairy-free or for a vegan option, I'm pretty sure that you can use any other alternative milks that are there. I haven't tried it, so I can't tell you or advise you to do it with any particular one. You will have to go and try, but that will get you to do some investigation in the kitchen and having fun as well. So I'm making it with milk, which is the way I make it, right? So I've got milk, I've got plain flour or all-purpose flour. I don't always use whole-purpose flour, but I have been asked to make it this way, so I'm gonna make it the basic way. I use all the flours. You will have to trigger a little bit the wet ingredients when that comes. I will be very happy if you like this recipe to go further and to show you how to use all the flours. But at the moment, we're going to do it basic. So we're going to make a basic white loaf that you can have as sandwich or toast. This is what we're looking for. Remember, this is not a baker bread. It's made at home. So I remember when I was little, I used to go and buy bread every day fresh. And then the next day we would use that bread as our toast because it wasn't fresh enough to eat as a normal bread. This is what happens when you make bread at home. This one will last a little bit longer fresh because you've made it with milk. But don't expect that it will last as long as the ones that you buy in the shops or in the supermarket, that they last for a long time. There's no preservatives. This is all natural and made at home. So it'll be home-baked bread with the results of a home-baked bread, okay? If you want the result from the store, you're just gonna have to go and buy them, okay? All right. The fantastic things about using a Thermomix to start your dough is that you don't need to measure anything in any other device. You do it all in here, and we're going to activate the yeast by warming the milk at the same time. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to press the weight. This is a TM5, which I know a lot of people want me to change it, but I love it and I have no intention to do. Here we are. So I need I need 240 grams of milk. So I'm gonna put 240 grams of milk in here. We get in there. 40, perfect. 240. All right. Now to this, we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of dry yeast. If you're using fresh yeast, you will need about 20 grams. Just break it, yeah? Normally it's about 3 times. This is about 7 grams. You multiply it by 3 times the fresh yeast, but it will give you exactly the same result. I always use this one. I buy it in bulk and then I put it in my fridge in this small jar. When this is coming off the big bowl, I've got it in the freezer. I get it out and I fill this up. I make a lot of bread, but you can also use the little sachets that you can find in the supermarket. So we're gonna put 1 and 2 teaspoons, and now we're going to activate. So we warm in the milk. You will need lukewarm milk, but we're gonna warm the milk at the same time that we are activating the yeast, and that's why I love using the Thermomix to start my bread doughs or any dough that I am making. Now, if you like, you could add a teaspoon of sugar to this mixture. The sugar will help your bread or your dough to rise much more. It will give it a different flavor, but it will also enhance the color. I don't like putting sugar. I avoid putting sugar as much as I can in anything other than, you know, in sweet baking. So I'm not putting sugar, but you can put 1 teaspoon of sugar. So we're gonna close the machine and we're going to activate it. It's quite cold here. I'm in Northern California, believe it or not, it's quite cold. And also the milk was out of the oven, out of the fridge. And also this was in the fridge, the yeast. So I'm gonna do it for 3 minutes. So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3 minutes. We're gonna put at 37 or 40 degrees, that's Celsius, which in Fahrenheit will be about 100 and 110. And we're gonna put it in speed 1. And there you have it. This is telling me that the milk is ready, and the temperature button is has got the light on, which means it's warm. And I actually touch it and I can feel that it's warm. So I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna give it a quick stir. If you can see, I'm gonna give it a quick stir. And now we're gonna start adding the rest of ingredients. So what makes bread? Liquid and flour. So I've got organic all-purpose flour or plain flour. You can also use baker's flour, which I believe in some places you can find it. If you decide to use a bread flour, that you can find some mixture with different types of grains in it, maybe you need to add a little bit of liquid, but we can always fill it later. So we need 400 grams. So, and again, with the Thermomix, the beauty of it is that I'm gonna weigh the flour as I am putting it in the machine, so I don't have to dirt or I don't have to measure it in any other way. When I publish the recipe in my blog, carmensorganickitchen.com, I will calculate how much in pounds it is, but it will be a little bit less than a pound for sure. So, and in cups, depending if it is metric, we will have I'll say 1 cup and 1/3. But if it's not metric, like in it will be different. So anyway, we'll say 400 mils, well, 400 grams for the time being. Now, very important, never mix the salt with the yeast. Salt kills yeast. So you want to add the salt now after you put the flour on top of the yeast mixture with the milk. Okay, so we need about a teaspoon of salt. I know this one has got a little bit less than a teaspoon. And we need a tablespoon of olive oil. This is extra virgin olive oil that I buy, organic, obviously. Once more, a tablespoon of olive oil is about 20 grams. So I'm just gonna leave the machine, and when it click 20, I'll stop. All right. So we've got our basic dough now. We're not missing anything. We're gonna close the machine and we're gonna mix it 15 seconds in speed 3. I like it this way because I find that it stays together. If I go a higher speed, everything will go up and I will have to scrap too much. And I find this is softer and I get a better result. So 15 seconds, speed 3. We'll check it. If I feel that I need it to mix it a little bit more before we need it, then I'll see. So let's just do it. Let's just stay here for 15 seconds. If you check and you like the machine, and if you live in the Bay Area, I have a few friends who are consultants and I can put you in touch with them. 15 seconds gone. Okay, I'm going to show you. It looks quite dry to me actually. I'm really surprised because normally, but you know what happened? Different flours work differently. So I'm going to add a little bit more of milk because I think it needs a bit more. So whenever you add, always a tablespoon at a time. I'm gonna imagine that it's about 20 grams, but I'm gonna add another 20 grams of, this might slow the process of proving a little bit. Even though my daughter has prepared the video for me, I am recorded on the go, and this just happened, and I want to be in my video because I want you to see what happens when you're cooking at home, and you know, whether you can solve the problem. So we're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it again 15 seconds at speed 3. I am a real cook, and this is what happens when you are in a real kitchen. So I don't want you to think that, you know, I prepare everything, or, I mean, I think of the recipes and I check them and all that, and I have cooked this recipe many times, but it is the first time. Maybe I have been using this milk, this new milk. It's a different brand for a while. So, okay, there we have it. Now, because I have made bread many times, this dough for me looks a bit dry, and I am going to actually add an extra 20 grams of milk. So when so we're going to say that we're going to do, so when I publish the recipe in my blog, I'm going to say 250 grams of milk instead of 240 as I originally said. Okay, I'm gonna mix it again and then I'll come back to you. All right, the last 15 seconds have just finished, and now it's looking more like it. You know, again, I have made bread so many times that I can, but just by touching, and this is looking better. This is looking better. Now, what we're going to do in the same bowl, see, I haven't done anything other than a little spatula. We're gonna put it back and we're going to knead it for about 2 minutes. So how do we knead it? We close the lid. I know the new machine does it all digitally, but this is the manual way. So I'm gonna put 2 minutes And I'm going to knead the dough for 2 minutes, and then we're going to go and do it by hand, and then we're going to rest it, and then we'll go the whole process away. So because this is quite, I'll do it. All right. Once 2 minutes have passed, I'll go back and show you how to finish the kneading by hand. Let's check it. I'm not used to work with only white flour or plain flour, but this is looking great. See what we have achieved by doing it in the machine. Now, normally this dough, it's a little bit more wet than it's happened to be. So when this happened to you, I find the best way to knead the dough is by putting some oil in your hands. And it's also great because it's the best moisturizer that you can imagine. So I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil in my hands, and I'm gonna also put it on this mat. Now I'm gonna put the bowl upside down, and it's got this little thing here. I just twist it around and it should come up. Should all come out. Okay, everything has come out. There's only a little bit here left. If I had it more wet, I would have shown you a little trick that my Thermomix consultant in Australia, the lovely Jackie, taught me to do, but we don't need to do it today because it's worked really well. Okay, so Thermomix is done. Now we're going to knead. Okay, so you want to put this bread, this dough together. And what you want to do, we've got 2 ways that you can knead. You need to knead this for about 15 minutes or 15 times, whatever you want. So I'm going to show you the 2 ways that I do it. So one way is you fold and then you push with this side, you turn it around, you fold and you push, always folding, pushing, you turn it around, you fold again, you push, and then, you know, you get these people that do it. One day you'll do it this fast, okay? And you will notice that as you are kneading, the bread is becoming really tough. And what is happening is that we are developing the gluten in the bread, which is something that doesn't happen in gluten-free breads, which is a complete different story. Now I'm going to show you the other way that you can also knead. So the idea is that you flatten and you bring it with your fingers like this, and then you put it like that, and then you bring it with your fingers like this. I think maybe if I do it on this side, it will be easier for you to see what I'm doing. Yeah, and then whichever way you like it, it's okay. So we're gonna knead this for about 5 minutes. Once you have kneaded it for about 5 minutes, we're gonna put it to rest, and we're going to do the first proof. So let's repeat. You fold and you push, you turn around, you fold and you push, you turn around, you fold and you push, you turn around, you fold and you push. If you do this about 15 times, which is pretty much what I've done, some people say you have to do the proof of the gluten is if this comes like that, means the gluten is not worked. It cannot be broken, so it needs to knead for a little bit longer. However, for this type of bread, I don't normally do that much work. I normally just do it a little bit and don't worry so much about the proof of the gluten, because this is a bread that we're gonna eat for sandwiches or for toast. When I make more of a rustic bread, then I do that. So but it's up to you if you want to work it a little bit longer. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in this bowl, and I'm going to put a little bit of semolina. Semolina is a coarser sort of flour, and it will make easier for you to remove the dough when it has proven, and it won't stick to the walls of the bowl. So we're gonna put a little bit of semolina all over the bowl, and you want your bread to keep the air inside. So make sure that you turn it around and you always put that air inside. We're gonna put it here in the bowl. We're gonna cover it with a clean tea towel, and we're gonna prove it for an hour. Now, this is my second trick of the day. The best place to proof your bread is the microwave. Yes, what happened is that when you close the microwave, it completely seals all the air, so no crust is gonna form. If you leave this in the air without covering, you're gonna see that it forms a crust, and also it's gonna make your proving time quicker because all the air is there, and it keeps the temperature. Because the bread has got the warmth of the milk, it's gonna make it faster. We're gonna do this for about an hour, and in an hour time we're going to come back and see how our bread is going. We have proof our bread for an hour. Let's check it. Oh no, we haven't got bread yet. Let's see. Look at that. Really bubbling. Yeah? So what we're going to do, it's super soft, super wonderful. I don't want to put too much flour because I don't want to make it too tough. I want to keep really nice and soft. So I'm going to do the same as I did before. If you are new at making bread, using olive oil instead of putting more flour, it will be much easier for you to work. And also you will avoid over-flouring your dough. That could create a much tougher dough, and that's not what we want. So look how easy it has come off. I told you, with the semolina and the oil, it came out really easily. Now I've got this bread tray or loaf tray. I'm using, this is the first one I ever bought years ago, and you should have seen what a hard bread I made. And then I gave up because I thought, oh, this is too hard. And then I went back. So because it's 400 grams, about just 2 cups and a little bit, I know I'm not gonna get a really big loaf. So I'm using the smallest one because I wanna have a really tall one. So what we're going to do with this one, we're going to put a little bit of oil in it, as we did with the bowl before. And either you do it with your hands or with a brush. I tend to do it with a brush all the time. Always, and I forgot to tell you when I started the video before, when you're going to cook, make sure your hands are really clean. So always use warm water, a little bit of soap, and you need about 10 seconds. So what I do is I count 10 in my mind, and I wash my hands really well. Make sure there's nothing underneath your nails. And if you don't have a clean tea towel, just use a paper towel to dry your hands. Always be very clean in the kitchen, very important. And this is not my hairstyle, but in the kitchen you should have your hair away from your face. Always be clean. I have found hairs, and I'm guilty of it, because when I cut my hair recently, in my recent trip to Argentina, I couldn't put my hair up, and I tell you, I found some hairs. Okay, so I've got this ready to go, and now we're going to prepare the bread. So what you want to do with the bread, we're going to very gently, we're going to get the air out. Be very gentle. We don't want to make our bread tough. We want our bread to be nice and soft. I'm really happy with the result. We're gonna just press it for about a minute. We're just gonna press it down really gently, really gently. And now we're gonna shape it. Now is easy because we're just gonna put it in our tray. So the shaping of the dough is going to be very easy. What we're going to do, the way it is, we're gonna start folding it. We're gonna make it into a lock sort of thing, very gently. And we're gonna put the seam down and we're gonna press it with our fingers like this. And we're gonna grab our tray. I want you to see it really well. So I'm gonna come, that's it. And we're going to fold this in. Okay, and we're gonna press it down a little bit with the back of our hand. And we're gonna do the second proving now. So we're gonna prove it for another hour or so. So you've got two options at this time. You can prove it a second time for another hour and then you cook it in the oven, or you can put it in a cold oven and then set your temperature at 425 Fahrenheit to 120 Celsius and cook it for about 45 to 50 minutes. That way you will save on the second proving. If you choose to do that, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go the whole way. I'm going to prove it a second time and then come back and cook it. But if you want to save the second proving because you want to make it quick, that's going to give you a really nice bread, but that bread is going to last you fresher much shorter time because you didn't allow the bread to rest and to have the second proof. So if you're gonna just make a quick bread for dinner or something like that, and you know that you're gonna eat most of it, I will go for that option. I won't wait for the second proof. I will just put it in the cold oven, and the second proof will happen as the oven is warming up. But you will be surprised. It will just rise. But anyway, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cover it again as I did before, and we're gonna let it proof for another hour, and then we're gonna put it in the oven, and then we're gonna cook it, and then we'll have some bread. It is a long process, but it's all well worth it. And I hope that I'm going to encourage you to go there and to get really nice flours, get some semolina, and start making your own bread. Right, our second proof is over, and voila. Look at what a beautiful loaf of bread. Nice, and it's proven beautifully. So now we're gonna get it in the oven. I've got the oven preheated at 425 Fahrenheit, 220 in Celsius, and we're gonna give it a rustic look. How about that? So I've got this beautiful bottle. This is actually for plants, but we're gonna spray some water. You don't need this fancy thing, you can just do it with your hands. And we're gonna give it a rustic look. To do that, we're just gonna sprinkle a little bit of flour on top, sort of scatter like that, so it will have a rustic look when it comes out of the oven, like this. So we're gonna bake it for, I'm gonna bake it for about 25 to 30 minutes. It should be finished. What you want to is, when you turn it off, when you turn it around, you tap and it has to sound hollow. But I'll show you how we do it. So off to the oven, in the middle rack, I'm gonna put 25 minutes, always do 5 minutes less. And in 25 minutes, we're gonna check how our bread is going. and my kitchen is gonna start smelling beautiful. In the meantime that my bread is baking, I'm going to be making dinner. So when I come back, I'll probably be in the middle of making dinner. I've decided, this is the semolina flour that I mentioned to you, which is actually durum wheat. So if you have never heard of it, you can find it in here in the Bay Area. If you can buy this one, you can find it in a few places, but also this one is available online. And the Indian shops sell a different one, but it's as good as this one and you can use it. Okay, I'll be back in 25 minutes. 22 minutes. I took it out a little bit earlier because I checked and it was quite dark, as you can see. But look, doesn't it look amazing? Looks beautiful. And I also have left it 5 minutes in the tray. Always when you bake, whether it's a cake or with bread, always leave it 5 minutes after you have taken it out of the oven to rest. So now I have made sure that it's off. So we're gonna take it off here and we're gonna tap it. And it's really, really soft. But if you touch it through here, it sounds hollow. So I assume that it's cooked, and we're gonna put it on a rack like this one and we're gonna let it, but look, I can touch it and it's super, super, super soft. Never cut a bread, give it at least 15 minutes. It keeps cooking, and make sure that you don't cut it until it's completely at room temperature. So about 15 to 20 minutes before you cut it and you serve it. So I'm gonna leave it at here. I will put photos in my social media and show you how it looks when I cut it. I hope that you have got a lot out of this video. If you like it, please let me know in the comments below. And I've got many other recipes of bread. I have given you a traditional sandwich loaf, which is what most people have asked me to do, but I can make, I've got another wholemeal one that is quite good, that I actually promised a recipe a while ago, so I will do it next time. And I do have many other recipes that I use with the Thermomix, so if you are interested, please leave it in your comments. Don't forget to like it, follow me in social media, visit my blog carmensorganickitchen.com, and most important, eat well and be happy. Y para los que habláis español, la semana que viene haré todo esto en español para que lo podáis entender. See you soon.